Michael Jackson's diary exposes one of his darkest secrets about his offspring. There are two sides to every story, but there's only one backstory. Prince Michael Jackson stole a glimpse outside of his hotel room window. A swift knock on his door startled him. He glared through the peephole before opening the door. "Auntie, come in, come in." Janet Jackson stood in the door's frame. Prince rushed his aunt into the room. "I came as fast as I could. Why are you in a hotel room?" "Can't no one find me here?" Prince slammed a red journal on the table. "What's that?" "My dad's journal." "That's Michael's journal?" "Yes, one of 5. Janet's eyelids stretched apart, revealing a flash of intrigue. She stared at the journal before cradling it into her arms. "What's in here?" "Stuff. A lot of stuff. A few months ago, 2 men came to my house. I could only assume they worked for the label. They wanted me to sell the rights to them to my father's catalog." "Tell them no." "Auntie, it's not that easy. When I was younger, Dad would say things and I never knew what they meant until now." "What type of things would he say?" "Things like, 'You'll always be a Jackson regardless.'" He would use regardless emphatically. "Why?" Janet watched as her nephew struggled to make sense of his inner thoughts. "Well, what do you think he meant by regardless?" Page 79, paragraph 3. Janet opened the book and began to read. With each syllable read, her face fell like autumn leaves, drifting into an abyss of silence. "My mother took my dad to that fertilization clinic against his will. I can't say I've never found his fascination with her off-putting. My father was Michael fucking Jackson. He could have had any woman on the planet. I think she was an operative who set him up." Prince pleaded with his eyes, hoping that Janet would throw him a lifeline. "Auntie, look at me. Do I look like I belong in your family? I look at my cousins and they have distinct features of my uncles, Jermaine and Tito, in their DNA. But not me." "That's not true." "It's very true. I can walk down the street and no one would notice me from the next white guy. The texture of your hair and hue of your skin don't make you any less a Jackson. Have you seen my sister and brother lately? Not a bit of melanin in sight. Don't gaslight me, Auntie. I've endured the articles, reports, internet trolls for far too long. I can read the room. And I read my father's journal." Janet's jaw clenched as if fighting to say what was really on her mind. "Maybe it's not true. Or maybe you're in denial like the rest of the world." Janet poured herself a cup of tea. "Have a cup of tea, it will calm you down." "I'm calm. My dad always talked about a woman named Stephanie Mills, I think. He would always say they would have made beautiful babies together." "That's beautiful. You know, I've never heard him talk about my mother. Don't you understand?" Janet went to the window and peeked out before closing the curtains. Shut. "Who's out there?" "No one. Relax. He's not our father, Auntie. My mother switched his sperm with someone else's." "And why would she do that?" "His catalog. They paid her for her access to him. Sony knew the only way to retrieve his publishing is through his kids, but kids they created. Unless you sell your father's publishing, it's safe with you, Paris and Blanket. We are not his kids, Auntie. The courts have tried to get us to do DNA tests and we refuse. Of course you 3 are his kids. When I was younger, I would overhear my father talking on the phone. A phone call he made every night for 15 years. 7 p.m. on the dot. I always asked him who he was talking to, and he would merely say, "It's an angel, Prince. Just an angel." "Who was on the phone?" I got the number and traced the call to a family in Detroit. Dad was smart as fuck. He knew the label was after his publishings, so he secretly found a woman in Detroit to have a biological child with. Wait, let me get this straight. You're saying my deceased brother has a biological child in Detroit? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Janet took a beat to catch her breath. How can you prove it? I invited her here. She's in the hotel room next door. Do you want to meet her?